extra time for people who are late. They're not supposed to be late. Everyone should be on time in class. That's why I'm on class. Yeah, Shabab, today's class is important. We're reviewing old exam questions. I see about 15 persons absent. This is not good. This is absolutely not good. Okay? And I will not consider their attendance after they sign now. I will not consider this attendance. It's considered absent. Okay? Anyone who signs now, I have the log of all the lectures. Anybody who sign in now is not considered attendance. Why you are late? Why you're absent? You are late while the instructor is there on time? You think your time is better than my time? This is weird. I cannot accept that. Anyone who's not late, anyone who's late, anyone who's absent, he doesn't want to get a good grade. Okay, that's your issue. If you don't want to get a good grade, means this is you're asking not to score. It's your choice. Right. Somebody raise hand. Yasser, go ahead.
دكتور أنا سجلت دخلت إيميلي بعدين في نفس اللحظة فصل بعد ما كتبت وقعدت دقيقة أو دقيقتين عشان أرجع.
Did you type in your ID?
إيه بس طلعت يعني دخلت مرة ثانية من الرابط. هل يحذف ولا؟
لا, it's okay. If you already registered your ID on time, that's fine. طيب.
شكرا.
Okay, so now let's continue with the questions. This is a question on chapter 4 and on chapter 2. So let's read together and discuss these questions. A particle starts from the origin at t equals 0 and moves along the positive x-axis. So this is motion in one dimension, it's clear. A graph of the velocity of the particle as a function of time. So look at the y-axis, it's velocity versus t. So y-axis is velocity versus t, where the v-axis v scale is set by vs equal 4, which means here, this point is 4 meters per second, and here should be what? 2 meters per second. What is the average acceleration of the particle between T1 and T4? He gave you everything you need. He said, calculate for me the average acceleration. Somebody raised hand again. Okay, hand, Hamad.
Doctor, I faced a problem with attending. Can I talk to you after the class?
Send me by email, not now.
Okay.
Send me by email.
Okay.
So what is the average acceleration? What is the definition of average acceleration? Delta V over delta T, or V final minus V initial. What is V final at 4? Where is the V? This is V versus T. I don't need to take any slope. Where is the V at 4? Here is the V at 4, which is 4. Minus V at 1. Where is the V at 1? 1, 1. So this is 2. Divided by delta T between 4 and 1. So it's 4 minus 1. So this is this answer. Very simple. Okay. Just follow the rules you learned. Average acceleration, V final minus V initial over T final minus T initial. Another question. A particle moves along the x-axis with the velocity versus t. So, this is also v versus t. Okay, the slope of v versus t, you know, it's acceleration. At certain point, if you take the slope tangent at certain point, it's the acceleration. Find the acceleration of the particle at t equal 2. What is this acceleration? Is it average or instantaneous? This is instantaneous acceleration because he specified the time at t equal 2. He did not say between t equal 1 and t equal 3. He said at t equal 2, which means it's instantaneous acceleration. How to find instantaneous acceleration at t equal 2? Means he wants the slope here. And by the way, if you take big slope or small slope, the characteristic of the straight line is that the slope is constant. Write it down in your notebook. The characteristic of a straight line, the main characteristic in math of a straight line is that the slope is constant. So it doesn't matter if I take a small triangle or big triangle. So say I take the big triangle, all this. Can I calculate the slope here? Yeah, I can calculate. What is V final? Here is V final. Is what? Minus 10. And what is at initial? It's plus 10. Just 1 second. Sorry for this interruption. So V final at T final here is minus 10. So minus 10 minus V initial, which is 10 plus 10. So minus plus 10. It's minus 20 over 2. Someone will say, why you took this? Because I'm trying to calculate this slope. So if I'm trying to calculate this slope should be negative. Slope of the line like this is positive. The slope of the line like this should be negative. Yani someone without calculating, he can say either the answer is this or this. And then it will become boy or a girl. If you solve, you get it exactly, which is minus 10 or minus 20. Straightforward, clear questions. I hope you attempted to solve. This will make a benefit maximum. Type another important question. From t equals 0 to t equal 5 minutes, a man stands still. What does it mean stands still? He's stationary. And from t equal 5 to t equal 10, the man walks in a straight line, motion in one dimension, at a constant speed. So he has the same, it's like a car in a cruise control driving down a street, straight line, not in the same direction. So what we can benefit from this information? He gave me the speed and he gave me the time between 5 and 10. Can I get a distance? Yes, I can get a distance because this is constant speed. It doesn't change. What is the average velocity in the time interval 3 to 9? Which means I need V average. What's the definition of the V average? Definition of the V average is displacement over time. So what is the time period he wants for this average velocity? Between 3 to 9, 6 minutes. Those 6 minutes, I deal with seconds. So I have first to convert them to seconds. 6 minutes, convert to seconds. It becomes 360 seconds. Okay? Okay? Right. So we got a time for the period. So here, divide by 360. Now I need a distance. A distance from the beginning to the end. From second equal, between طبعا what? 3 minutes to 9. From second 3 to second 2, the man is standstill. No change. Because he said from T to 5 is standstill. So from 3 to 2, he is standstill. So no movement. Then I need from what? From 5 until 9. How many meters he moved between 5 to 9? Between 5 to 9, the time is what? 240. And the speed is 2.2. Speed multiplied by the time, you get a distance. So the distance he moved between 5 and 9 minutes is 528. And this is the displacement. Final minus initial. Final is 528. Initial is 0. Divide the displacement over time, you get an average velocity. The fact that the average velocity is positive means it is in the same direction. Okay, type. Let's see another question. Here, sitting on the top of a building, you drop, we said the word drop or release or from V initial equals 0 indicates the same thing, means V initial is equal to 0. Drop, release, or is V initial is equal, or from rest, or drop or release is the same thing. A stone, while you throw a stone, يعني someone, let me make this drawing to explain it to you. Someone on a building, here is someone. He has 2 stones. One stone, V initial equals 0, so he will just drop it. The other one, he will shoot it down, the stone, with V initial equal what? What do you think the V initial should be in this case? If he throw it downward, should be negative. And I know it should be negative. The direction of the velocity down is negative. This one is 0. So one stone has initial negative velocity. The other stone has initial velocity equals to 0. Excellent. Good participation. By the way, I noticed the participation decreased. Used to be many people participate. Now I see 2, 3. What's going on there? Exam is coming. You have to be ready for the exam, ya shabab. I don't like the performance recently. People are late recently, and people don't participate as before. This is not good sign. The exam is coming. Okay? طيب. Now, one of the stones has initial velocity 0. Another stone has initial velocity negative. The stone that has initial velocity 0, this one, what happens to it? His speed will become, or velocity increase with negative. Why increase with negative? Because gravity is pulling down. So the stone that started, this is a curve of velocity versus time. The stone that started at t equals 0 with initial velocity equals 0, what happens to it? Its velocity will keep increasing with time. Negative increase in time. Yani negative becomes 0, -1, -2, accelerating due to gravity. The particle that was thrown down with negative velocity. No, I cannot take this one. This is positive velocity. So I can take this one, اللي هو B. And after you throw it with negative velocity, what will happen to it? Also, gravity is pulling it down. So the velocity will keep increasing in the negative. هنا يا معنى increasing in the negative. Means negative velocity increasing with time. So what should be the answer representing the two stones? The dropped one and the thrown one vertically downward. It's answer A, curve A and B. And as an extra, let's represent this. What is this stone? C. What is this? This is a stone thrown upward from the building. مثلا هذا البيلدينج. Somebody throw it up. So it will go. Look at this. This is stone C. It will start positive, right? Positive velocity. Until it reaches 0. Where is 0? For example, here. Then it will reverse direction. It becomes negative. Yes, صح. لأنه he went from positive to 0, then negative. So as if the stone followed this path. So this is C. Let's study D. What is D? What is the stone D? Stone D is that someone from the building, okay, start a particle with negative velocity. What do you mean? Like, how come I can have negative velocity and then it will become 0 and then it will become positive? As if someone throw a ball down, okay? It started negative, it hit the ground, so it reversed direction, so it becomes suddenly 0 because it will have to reverse direction, then the velocity becomes positive. يعني هذه two other explanations other than the answer A and B, just for your benefit, A ball is thrown vertically upward. I always suggest you make a drawing, okay? So a ball is thrown vertically upward with initial velocity 20. طبعا this 20 is positive because it's vertically upward, 20 meters per second. It takes 4 seconds for the ball to come back. Same level. What is the magnitude of average velocity of the ball for the whole trip? يلا, participation in the chat panel. What do you think should be the average velocity? So 2 seconds to go up, 2 seconds to go down. But the problem is this. What is the displacement? Perfect, yeah, Badr Barweshid. Badr is excellent. The displacement, Abdul Ilah Al-Ghamidi, also excellent. The displacement is 0 because the particle went up and returned back to the same location. In average velocity, I need displacement. And if the displacement is 0, خلاص, the answer is 0. If the displacement is 0, the answer is 0. But as your friend said, if we want to analyze it time, 2 seconds up and 2 seconds down, because it's identical, it's symmetrical, okay? By the way, when you throw it with a 20 and it reach after 2 seconds, what should be the velocity here? 0. Yeah. And then after 0, it will reverse direction down. Okay, هذا instantaneous velocity طبعا. Let me see, في فراج سؤال. Go ahead يا فراج.
دكتور, if you said average speed, it will be 10, yes?
ما في الافريج average speed I need to calculate a distance up with distance down. Good سؤال ممتاز. I have here, I need to calculate this distance up to here. زائدا I need to add this distance to here. Just distance without direction, huh? Without direction, just distance. How much? Then divide by 4, because the whole trip is how much? Is 4, right?
Yes.
So calculate this distance from equation of motion. Calculate this distance, positive طبعا, add them to each other. طبعا we can how we can calculate it? X final minus X initial, هذا في الفيرست part, equal V naught, which is 20, T, which is 2 seconds for this trip from the bottom until maximum height, minus half G, which is 9.8, T square, اللي هي 2 square. Here you calculate. طبعا واحد لو عنده calculator 40 minus 4 2 also another square 4 2 but is about 20 تقريبا. So it's about 20 meters. So it is 20 meters up plus 20 meters down is 40. 40 divided by 4 how much? 10. شوف حط لك الانسر هذا. شوف حط لك هذا الانسر عشان يلخبطك. عشان this is a trick. This is a trick. He gave you the answer. If someone attempted, he doesn't understand the difference between average velocity and average speed, he will make a colossal mistake. You need to understand that average velocity depends on displacement. Average speed depends on actual distance crossed. And to calculate it in this case, this distance, I needed equations of motion. Type good. Another question. A person pushes a cart along a straight track, so which means this is motion in one dimension. The velocity of the cart changes over time as shown. So this is velocity versus time. So he started here. The velocity increased up to 5. Then it became, شو معنى هذا الكيرف? What does it mean, this curve? The velocity increased from t equals 0 to t equal 2 up to 5. Then it stayed constant from t equal 2 to t equal 5 for stayed constant for about another 3 seconds, from 2 to 5, 3 seconds. Then the velocity dropped from 5 t equal 5 to t equal 7 up to minus 5, which means reverse direction. شو معنى t minus 5؟ معنى he reverse direction. It became 0 كأنه عمل U-turn and then reverse direction. And then from 9 to 10 it stayed 0, stationary. هذا the meaning of this curve. This is the meaning of this curve. ممتاز. في participation. Good. طيب. Now, what he wants? He wants average acceleration. What's the definition of average acceleration? Average acceleration, V final man. So V at what? Between T2 and T7. So I need V at 7. Where is V at 7? اللي هي هذه. Minus 5. Yes. Minus the V at 2. Where is the V at 2? Plus 5. So minus 5. Minus 10. Divided what seconds between T equal 2 and T equal 7? 5 seconds. What should be the answer? Minus 2. So this, طبعا, why minus is important? Because this is a vector quantity, average acceleration. He did not say, give me the magnitude of average acceleration. If he said, give me the magnitude, خلاص, I take absolute value. He said, give me the average acceleration. So sign becomes important. That's why he gave you two answers, one minus 2 and another one plus 2. He wants you to know that it is a vector quantity and it should be minus 2 meters per second, which means the acceleration total is toward the left. The net direction of the acceleration is toward the left. Can I take the slope? If you take the slope, no. If you take the slope, you calculate instantaneous acceleration. انتبه. Here you need average acceleration. في difference between average and instantaneous. Instantaneous at any moment, يعني what if he said give me the acceleration at t equal 4 هنا. Acceleration وشو؟ يلا answer. What is the acceleration at t equal 4 يا شباب? Answer in the chat panel. Acceleration at t equal 4. Everyone should be able to answer. 0. Why 0? Because the velocity did not change. The slope of this horizontal line is 0. يعني acceleration here 0, acceleration at 2 0, acceleration at 5 0. What is the acceleration at 1? معناه the slope of this line, which is what? 5 divided by 2, 2.5. Okay, 2.5, 5/2. Perfect. Perfect. طيب. What is the acceleration at 7? زميلكم يسأل. Acceleration at 7, I need to take a tangent أو slope here, which is 0. طبعا acceleration here, mathematicians will tell you الشارب needles like this or sharp tops, you can draw many slopes. Here actually the acceleration is undefined. طبعا هما الكوميتي they made a mistake. If they will ask about 7, they don't have answer undefined, so they have to make it something like this. They cannot make it sharp, because in math, I think you took it in calculus, sharp tops or sharp bottoms, you can draw many slopes, so it is undefined. Yeah, undefined. Yes, good. This is excellent. The more important thing is that you take the slope for tangent. For average, you have to take a period. Okay, fine. Let's see this question. Said here, let me take a pen. An object falls a distance h from rest. Okay, distance h from rest. So here, rest means v initial equals what? 0. Okay, so v initial equals 0. Just one second. Sorry. So an object falls a distance h from rest. Okay, so here v initial equals 0 and the whole height is h. If it travels half of the distance in the last 1 second, so from here to here, it took 1 second to travel. So what it should be the distance, the time taken from here to here? If the whole trip is t, I don't know it. Here t minus 1 and here is 1. If I add t minus 1 to plus 1, it will be t. So for the whole trip, I have height h. For the whole trip, I have time t. But this half, which is from, this is h equal to, طبعا this is 0, this is h equal to, and this is height h. From h equal to 0, this distance, the time taken is 1, and the distance is h/2. طيب, what's the question? If it travels a height h of the, okay, if it travels in the last, the height h of the fall, tell me the height h. طيب, خلاص, I will start saying from here to the bottom, let me try to find the height. The height is h, so I can apply third equation, اللي هي y final minus y initial, which means h minus 0. So h minus 0, or 0 minus h to be precise, equals minus gt squared. So I have this equation, but I don't know time and I don't know LH. I need equation for the another equation. So this is equation 1, this is equation 1. يعني هذه just rearrangement of this. The minus sign cancels out with the minus sign. So I have this equation. This is equation 1. I need another equation. Other equation, I benefit from the second information. This is h/2 with time is 1. Good. So h/2 distance. طبعا كيف أعرفها? Here, what's the height? 0. Here, h/2. What's the final? 0. So it is 0 minus h/2, because I am final minus the initial, equal v naught t. Okay, v naught t. So I don't have it. It is here minus half g t minus 1 square. طبعا and I'm doing what? I'm doing h, I'm doing this period, because it doesn't matter, I just need h. I cannot work on this period. Why? Because I don't know the initial velocity here. That's the problem. So I needed this one, which means, sorry, I'll correct it. It's h/2 minus LH. h/2 minus h minus h/2. And here equals what? What's the V initial here? V initial here is 0. So it is 0 minus half. And what's the time for this trip from here to here? T minus 1. So here. Now I substitute this equation 1 into this T, and then I can get the height, total height for the whole trip, 57.1. طبعا I hope when you attempted that you try to understand it, because we cannot spend too much time on every question. I have many questions. But anybody has a question here, he can ask me. Anybody has a question? Badr? Okay, go ahead, Badr.
Doctor, if I find the velocity on the middle of the height, it's okay, or
Yeah, but you cannot. You cannot, because you have only V initial and you don't know the time and you don't know the height. You have two unknowns. Difficult.
yes. Thank you.
But if it happens, لحظة شوية, Badr. If it happens that you can, he gave you another information, yes, you can do directly V initial to the final score, no problem. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Okay, let's go to another question. Which of the graphs shown in the figure 2 represents an object moving, which with what? Negative constant with negative constant velocity. Which of these motions, 5 curves, represents an object moving with negative constant velocity? طيب هذا x versus t. Slope of x versus t tangents هذه indicate what? Velocity. And velocity is negative, but is it constant? بالanswer. Is the velocity constant? No, it keeps changing. هذا not the correct answer. It is negative, but not constant. How about this one? The area under the curve represents the velocity. صح؟ لأنه acceleration versus t. The area under the curve here represents the velocity. The velocity came to be what? Positive. So I cannot take answer 2. Let's take 4, for example. 4. This is x versus t. What's the slope? Is velocity. But what is the velocity here? 0. So this also not correct answer. 5. The area under the curve is velocity. The velocity is positive. So 5 is not good. Let's look at this one. The slope is negative. So the velocity is negative. And is it a constant? Yes, it is a constant. Why? Because it is straight line. And the slope of the straight line is negative. So answer 3. Answer here 3, figure 3 اللي هو the correct answer. Figure 3 is the correct answer. Good. Let's have more questions. The position of a particle moving along the x-axis is given by this. We gave you the equation of the particle in one dimension. What is the acceleration of the particle at what time? At its maximum x position. You learned in math that at maxima or minima, the slope should be 0. You learned this. So at maximum position, what is the velocity? Turning point. The velocity should be 0. So what should I need to do? I need first to calculate the velocity. So I derive my equation. The derivative of 6t squared is what? 12t minus 9t squared equal to 0. I should equate it to 0 to extract the time. هذه تروح 1t, هذه تروح هذه. You get it time. After I got it time, which is 4/3, whatever. After you get it time, اللي هو 12/3, it's what, 3? Yeah. After you get it time, what you do? 3 seconds. You need now to derive again a velocity to get the acceleration. Derivative of 12t is 12 minus 8. طبعا this is 9. طبعا this is what, 2. So 18t. Now I substitute this time here. So 12 minus this one here, and you can get a time. So let me see اللي هو acceleration at this point. Let me see the answer, because maybe the time was wrong. Yeah, time was wrong. I made a mistake. I thought it's 4, it's 9. I wrote it as 4. I made a mistake. So first you calculated time. You take the derivative of the distance or the position equation. You get a velocity equation, you equate it to 0, you extracted time, which is 4/3 or 1.33 seconds. Then you derive a velocity to acceleration, and then you can get what? You can get an acceleration at maximum exposition. Anybody has a question on this? Let me see chat panel. Oops. Why? Why? ايش هو why negative? Yeah, why negative? Because I derived it twice. When you derive هذا شوف, this 12 minus 18t. So t is 1.33. 12 minus 18 multiplied by 1.33 should be negative, minus 12. It should be minus 12. No, عادي, normal. Just apply the function. Okay. Another question on motion in two dimensions, in one dimension, sorry. An object is thrown vertically upward. So I have an object is thrown vertically upward from the ground. When it reaches half of the maximum height, it reaches half of the maximum height, which means here. Okay? It has a speed of 19.6. So this tells me that initially I have velocity, which is high. It decreases and becomes here 19.6. Then what happens if it proceeds up? At maximum height, the velocity will be 0. At maximum height, the velocity will have to be 0. Okay. What is the maximum height reach? I know at maximum height for vertical motion, the velocity is 0. So basically I can apply equations of motion, right? I can apply equations of motion. Let me show you. So first, I calculate between point 1 and point 2 because why I selected points 1 and 2? Because I know the velocity here and I know the velocity here. Had the two good informations. He told me the velocity here is what? 19.6. And I know the velocity here is 0. So this is good. If I use the second equation, V final square, V initial square minus 2G, Y initial minus Y final, sorry, Y final minus Y initial, which is H over 2, then I substitute. V final square is 0 لأنه الفاينل هنا 0. الV initial 19.6 square طبعا minus ال2 في الG with distance الheight H minus H over 2. Substitute the numbers, you get 39.2 for the whole H. Not H over 2, for the whole H, it's 39.2. طيب, يا شباب, let me ask you, in the chat panel, or raise your hand if you attempted to solve this question before. Raise your hand if you attempted to solve this question before. Raise hand. خلينا نشوف. Who attempted to solve this question at home before? Raise hand. Raise hand if you attempted. Good. طيب. Keep your hand raised if you managed to solve it. Keep your hand raised if you managed to solve it. يعني you managed to solve it and you understand it. Keep your hand raised. Good. طيب, this is good. خلاص, ممتاز. Please unraise hand. Thank you. I just want to know. Okay. حدا سؤال أحمد or this is just the hand? أحمد?
Just
hand. Okay. Thank you. Unraise a hand, please. طيب. Now this question shows the 3 bats for a soccer ball kicked from the ground level. Rank the bats according to the time of flight. By the way, an important thing to know, if all of the balls, whether this track 1 or track 2, somebody kicking a ball and they have the same, they reach the same height and they go back to the same point, we know that in the example of firing an object vertically or fire it horizontally, both of them, they have the same initial velocity. Why? Because the time on the vertical axis doesn't change. So the time taken for the flights 1 or 2 or 3, because both of them, they have the same initial velocity and they have the same height. If you have the same initial velocity and you have the same height, then what? Then you have the same track, so the time has to be the same. And when you attempt to solve, you need the height, you need the time. So regardless of the shape of the track, you will have the same time of a flight, whether in situation 1 or 2 or 3. Think of it at home. I want you to give it great thought at home. Another question. Vectors A, B, C are shown. Vector C is equal to what? Look at the figure here. What is this? This is A. This is C. This is B. Look at the directions of the arrow. It means that A plus C has to be B. صح? A plus C is equal to B from the figure, right? Right? So A plus C equal B. So C equals what? Just B minus A. وهذا الحل. شوف يبغى بس he just wants you to understand how to find a resultant vector graphically. A plus C equal B. So C equal B minus A. Very straightforward. Let me see chat panel. Yeah, B minus A is correct. Yes, absolutely. طيب. Let's go to another question. In figure, A has magnitude of 10 meters. So what does it mean magnitude 10 meters? معنى طول هذا, the length of A is what? Is 10. That's the meaning of 10, the magnitude 10. And B has magnitude 8, means the length of B is 8. That means I can have 8 units quickly. The component X component, معناه give me ال AX plus ال BX. يعني A plus B, يعني where is A plus B by the way? This is A plus B. هذا ال A plus B. Where is the X component for A plus B? اللي هو هذا. He wants this. How to find it? اطلع الكومبوننت للA الX واطلع الكومبوننت. طب الكومبوننت A الX هذه ال AX is it positive ولا negative? Is positive, which is this one, right? This one. Well, B is it X positive or negative? Also positive. Means I need to add both of them. So both of them positive. خليني أسألك سؤال. الكومبوننت Y of A is it positive ولا negative? Positive. الكومبوننت Y لل B is positive ولا negative? Negative. Down. So the solution I get both components. طبعا I know angles فهذا cosine وهذا also cosine and both of them positive. Let me see. Yes. ال 8 cosine ال 60 plus 10 cosine ال 45 11. هذه ال X component of A plus B. نحل ال Y component. يلا نحل ال Y component. حنحلها سوا. Okay. So what is A plus B ال Y component. أول واحد هذا ال Y كم؟ 10 sine 45 plus or minus? Oh, هذه should be minus. Should be minus. Minus 8 sine 60. هذا حل ال Y. Okay شباب? I hope it's clear. طيب, let's go do another question. يعني with the practice, you need to practice, you need to study. Remember, if you don't study, this doesn't work. You have to study yourself. You have to attempt to solve. 8 cosine. ليه sine؟ نشوف هنرجع لها. ممكن خطأ. ممكن. Here هذه 60. No, it is sine also. هذه cosine. هذا المجاور adjacent. وهذا الساين. This is cosine. وهذا الساين. Okay? So both of them sine. Both of them sine. The opposite. Okay? You agree with me? True. Okay, good. يلا الحمد لله. Good. طيب. We go now. If A equal 1i hat 4j hat و B minus 1i hat j hat و 2k hat و C 5i hat minus 1k hat, what is 2a dot B cross A? طبعا what I need to do in this case, calculate B cross A. كيف calculate B cross A? أعمل الماتريكس method B cross A. طبعا if you don't know الماتريكس method, you don't know how to do the cross product, يعني horrible. You go to the exam, you lose a lot of points. So I hat, أول line we said I hat minus j hat k hat. أنا حعملها لأول مرة. Okay? أعملها again. B cross A means this line is reserved for what? For B. Is reserved for B. Where is B? Minus 1 هذا 0 with 2. السكند فيكتور second line for A. Where is A? 1 4 0. الآن دول كروس برودكت وش هي؟ هنجيب another line، نجيب color. هذا 0 by 0 0 minus 8. إذا minus 8 I hat. هذا أول واحد. 0 by 0 minus 2 by 4 minus 8. السكند 1 الماينس الجي هات هذه. 0 by minus 1 0 لكن عندي وات minus جي هات. اكتب اول شيء minus جي هات افتح قوس. 0 minus 2. So minus الماينس plus. Then plus كي هات. نفتح. كم الكي هات؟ minus 1 by 4 minus 4 minus 0. نكتب الفيكتور الآن وش يصير الحل؟ خلينا نكتبه just to simplification. minus 8 I hat plus 2 j hat minus 4 k hat. هذا B cross A. Then I need to add to this what؟ اللي هو الفيكتور C. وش السي؟ هذا السي. Add to it. 5 I hat minus 8 I hat becomes what? Minus 3 I hat. الجي hat is unchanged. ما حاجة تنضاف لها 2 j hat. والماينس 4 k hat معناه minus 1 k hat minus 5 k hat. Okay? Did we make a mistake? Minus 1. ايش عملنا mistake? Maybe I made a mistake. Minus 4. Okay, so this is the idea. Okay. This is the idea. Then I do the dot product. To do the dot product, I multiply I hat bil I hat, j hat bil j hat, k hat fil k hat, and then multiply by 2. So the answer you have to get 10. All over answer 10. Did I get a vector or a scalar? I got a scalar. Why? A scalar quantity. Why I got scalar quantity? Because it's a dot product. This vector dot product with all this bracket vector. So it should be a scalar quantity. Maybe I made a mistake in one of the calculations, but the idea is good. Yeah, minus 1 j. There is no I in the vector B. Okay, good. I cannot spend يا شباب too much time, but يعني exceptionally I want to make sure everyone understand the method. Here, we still have 6 minutes. Good. 3 displacement vectors A, B, C are shown where the magnitude of vector A 20 centimeter, A is length, is 20 centimeter هذا, وB 40 centimeter, وC 30 centimeter. He gave you the angles. هذا cosine وهذا sine. هذا cosine negative وهذا sine positive. I hope it's clear. Find the resultant vector. The resultant vector, you analyze each vector. A, it doesn't have x component because it's all على y. It's only 20 j hat. Will be هذا 4 cosine al 45 40 sorry not 4. This is a mistyping. و 40 sine al 45 طبعا both of them positive. Correct. السي هذه cosine al 30 negative cosine al 30 negative. هذه الجهات هذه الجهات cosine al 30 negative وsine al 30 positive I hat. Yes هذه. Then what you do, you add them. Add I hat lil I hat, j hat lil j hat. You get the resultant vector. If he said, give me the magnitude of the resultant vector, what you should do, square root, square this, plus square this. If he said, give me the angle, كيف أوجد الانجل للresultant؟ خلاص أرسم هذا الفيكتور. هذا الفيكتور 43 مع 22 j hat اللي هو هذا الفيكتور. You can find الانجل هذه من التان. It's very straightforward. تبغى مذاكرة يعني حقيقة. If you don't exercise yourself, it's difficult. Tan inverse, of course, yes. طيب. Let's see another question. The two vectors, this is similar to one of the checkpoints in the book. The two vectors D1 and D2 lie in the XY plane as shown. What is the sign of the Y component of D1 plus D2, D1 minus D2, and D2 minus D1? Okay. أول حاجة, is sign of D1 الواي كومبوننت D1 plus D2. Where is D1 plus D2? هذا هو D1 plus D2. هذه الواي كومبوننت وهذه الاكس component. What is the sign of the y component? Positive. صح. Then الD1 minus D2 هذا D1 minus D2 كيف أعمل؟ الD2 I have to reverse it يصير كده 180. So this is the resultant. ال y component of D1 minus D2 yes هذه negative. D2 minus D1 هذه D2 minus D1 هذه I drag هذا الفيكتور لأنه حبدأ فيها I'll drag it exactly as it is. I drag D2. At D1 I have to reverse it. Reverse this one يصير كده yes. So the y component has to be what? Positive. صح. Anybody has a question on this? Yes, good. Good participation ولو إنها قليلة. Anybody has a question on this? Raise hand. طيب good. يعني حلينا like it exactly. طبعا they brought it from the checkpoint and they put it as a question. Here are three vectors D1 3i hat plus 2k hat و D2 2i hat plus 4j hat و D3 the resultant of D1 D2 cross D3. What I need to do first I need to do the cross product of D2 cross D3 هذا D2 cross D3 matrix method. هنعمل بسرعة كده ها D2 cross D3 حنكتبها بس حكتب لك اياها وانت you have to solve it takes time ها is I hat اول line minus J hat then K hat هنا اول واحد D2 هذا اول D2 اذا هو what 2 4 0 والثاني D3 كم 0 3 3J hat 1 تعمل الماتريكس ميثود 4 minus اذا اول واحد 4I hat بعدين هذا negative J hat 2 minus 2 J hat والثالث 12 إذا بلس 12 خلصناه بسرعة K hat يلا أنا عملته بسرعة. الآن دوت برودكت مع D1 هذا بتضرب الI hat بالI hat 3 مع 4 12 good وال2 K hat مع 12 is another 12 يا سلام. It took us 1 minute which is 24. What happened to this? 0 لأنه it doesn't have J hat. شوف هذا حليناه in 1 minute quickly. Quickly you can do it. If you know the method خلاص. And they have to ask you by the way. ما في منها مناص. He will bring you a question on a cross product. He'll bring you a question on the when will be the first. I don't know والله. They will send announcement. أنا frankly I'm not a coordinator this semester. My battery did and came back now. Okay, that's no problem. I think I won. Okay, I won. Okay, good. Good. We have time. We still have maybe 30 seconds. We'll try to utilize it. طيب هذا خليه هذا من chapter 4 إن شاء الله. We continue next time. We have anybody has a question يا شباب? Anybody has a question يا شباب? Before you go, I have 30 seconds. I want to tell you something important. يا شباب أنا I hope you solve by your hand. استعد للامتحان. What we are discussing is not important if you don't hold a pencil or a pen and you exercise. It doesn't work. You have to exercise yourself. You know how to do the cross product and everything. I hope some of you made it to the talk I presented for جامعة الإمام عبد الرحمن بن فيصل. I hope so. If raise your hand if you attended the talk. Raise hand please. If you managed to attend the talk. Good يا حمد. ممتاز. Okay. Keep your hand raised if you think it was useful and good. Keep your hand raised if you think you benefited from it or you think it's useful or good. والله ما شاء الله good. طب I'm so happy. طيب يا شباب over the weekend no waste of time studying. الامتحان قرب. احنا end of chapter 6. So midterm most likely it will be online. I don't know. But they will announce. They will make official announcement. You know due to the coronavirus. Okay. I don't know when is the exam. They will announce, but they tell you at least 1 or 2 weeks before. Don't worry. They will not surprise you. They will not tell you tomorrow is the exam. They will at least they will give you a note 1 or 2 weeks before. At least 1 week. Yalla, assalamu alaikum. See you later. Inshallah. طبعا الماتيريال might be from chapter 1 to 7 or 1 to 8. They will announce it. Don't worry. Don't worry.